Imagine for a moment you're standing at the edge of time, staring back at the vast expanse of your life. How do you measure its worth? What weight does your past hold, and what bearing does your future have on your happiness? This is the heart of our journey today, as we delve into the reflective wisdom of Marcus Aurelius in segment 1 of part 3 of Meditations. Marcus writes that it's neither the past nor the future that can oppress us, only our present concerns can. He asserts that we should confine these concerns and handle them individually, encouraging us to reprimand our mind if it can't stand resilient against a lone issue. He questions the sense in mourning endlessly for the past, as seen in the acts of those who weep at the tombs of the departed, like Panthea or Pergamus at Varus's tomb. Marcus wonders if such perpetual lamentation serves any purpose, especially when the dead cannot experience it, nor would they derive pleasure from it. Turning to wisdom and restraint, he insists that great understanding should be applied with the highest wisdom, and that while no virtue can withstand justice, temperance is meant to rein in sensual pleasures. We are taken to a powerful realization that by stripping away our personal opinions that tend to aggravate our sorrows, we can find resilience. Marcus identifies reason as the self within us, and argues that this rational part should not be disturbed by irrational grievances, as the obstruction of the understanding is the true misfortune for an intelligent being. He finds it illogical for one to trouble themselves when one has never willfully troubled anyone else. Joy for him lies in having a sound governing part, serene in the face of human conditions, and he emphasizes the need for a disposition that regards every happening with equanimity and rightful action. Moving to perception, Marcus cautions us against letting the noise of others determine our self-worth. He says, "The mere fact that someone speaks ill of you does not inherently harm you. It is solely your interpretation of such events that causes distress, and that is within your power to change." Marcus speaks of the ephemeral nature of fame and the changing opinions of others, both of which should be irrelevant to a tranquil mind. He believes in a divinity within each person that remains propitious regardless of external circumstances, implying an inner power undiminished by the vicissitudes of life. He confronts the fear of death head-on, arguing that either a loss of all sensation or a change in sensation should not be feared. Each occurrence in life, as he sees it, is natural and should not be met with indignation, but rather acceptance as part of the cosmic order. Moreover, Marcus urges that your reasoning process should remain steady and undisturbed, like the ray of sunlight that shines through a window, focused and purposeful, unaffected by the trivialities that might attempt to block its path. As our time today comes to a close, we leave with the idea that we must educate others with kindness and understanding, or at least tolerate them. This echoes the underlying tone of interconnectedness and the philosophy of Stoicism that Aurelius presents throughout the Meditations. Imagine a world where every event and every moment is part of an intricate dance, orchestrated by a grand universal plan. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, unveils this profound understanding where every fabric of reality weaves together for the universal good. In this vision, Marcus teaches us that everything, including pain, pleasure, life, and death, are seen as indifferent by the cosmos. It's not that these things don't matter per se, but in the grand cosmic scheme, they are mere passageways, incidental rather than defining. Through his profound reflections, Marcus urges us to align with this universal indifference, to embrace the flux of existence with equanimity, and to accept it without rebellion, recognizing this state as the true nature of divine providence. Diving deeper into the essence of our experiences, we're encouraged to shun all forms of deceit and corruption, notably those of the mind, which contaminate not just the self, but the societal sphere, much worse than any physical illness. Such mental plagues disconnect us from our true nature, one that should thrive in harmony and connection with others. Marcus urges us to consider death not as a dreaded end, but as a natural progression of life, another event that nature intends. It holds the same quality as any phase of life, like the growth from a child to an adult. He advises us to anticipate death's arrival as we would any natural occurrence, neither fearing nor flaunting it, but to accept it as a cyclical element of existence. Part of accepting our mortality involves looking at others' transgressions with a measure of compassion and understanding. The wrongs done unto you or by you are self-inflicted wounds upon the perpetrator's character. This wisdom extends to social interactions, where patience and education shine as remedies rather than resentment or estrangement. Redeeming others through gentle guidance or taking solace in the gift of tolerance when teaching fails is sage advice. Going further, Marcus believes that every entity in this universe has a tendency to bond with similar entities, emphasizing the natural inclination towards unity and harmony, a concept we often struggle to embody within society. He postulates that within the rational souls, there should be a more significant inclination for internal and external unity, forming more complex social structures like friendships, families, and societies. Yet, he observes that humans often neglect this natural tendency, creating dissonance in a symphony meant to be harmonious. As for the process of living, Marcus encourages us to perform actions that contribute to the social good, maintaining unity and coherence in our life's undertakings. He likens the strife and divisions of society to children's quarrels, reminding us of the triviality of many disagreements when viewed against the vast canvas of existence. To put it in perspective, consider your own life as merely one point along a continuum of family lineage or human history. Changes and transitions are natural, just like the phases of life from birth to death. They are not to be feared but acknowledged as part of the entire human experience. Finally, amidst a world of change and transformation, where the actions of others can sometimes unjustly wound us, Marcus counsels us to return to our own judgment, to exercise justice and understanding, and to affirm our role in the social network where each has their purpose. When offended or aggrieved, we should invoke empathy, recognizing that even those who transgress against us are innately part of the human family, deserving of patience and assistance. These profound insights from the Roman emperor guide us to contemplate the transient, impermanent nature of life, and to cherish the beauty of a connected universe where kindness and unity prevail over petty discord. Each of us has a role in maintaining the harmonious web of existence, urging us to live mindfully and morally in what might seem like the unending ebb and flow of the cosmos. How often do we find ourselves getting swept up in the current of life, chasing a vision that isn't even ours? Marcus Aurelius, in this segment of Meditations, implores us to focus on our true nature, to act according to it, and to let go of the need for external validation. Chapter 29 dives into the fleeting influence of people who think they wield control over states and ideas. Marcus argues these so-called leaders are mere froth, tossed about by the torrent of the true cause of all, the whole of nature. He encourages us not to yearn for an ideal society, like Plato's Republic, but rather to find satisfaction in even the smallest progress, reflecting that true significance comes from internal strides rather than external accolades. The leaders we may emulate, like Alexander or Demetrius, may not have understood their duties to nature. Philosophy, as Marcus describes it, is pure and unpretentious. It shouldn't lead us down paths of vain ambition. In Chapter 30, Marcus urges us to contemplate life from a higher perspective, from the multitude of human experiences to the varying cultural practices worldwide. He reminds us of the insignificance of fame and glory, how quickly they dissipate, and how little they truly matter. Chapter 31 is a call to inner peace and justice. Marcus suggests we find tranquility by accepting external happenings beyond our control while being just in our actions to contribute positively to society. The next chapter, 32, advises us to rid ourselves of superfluous concerns, which only cloud judgment, urging us to embrace the impermanence of all things as a means to serenity. Life's temporary nature is a continuing theme in Chapter 33. Marcus points out the inevitability of death for all, regardless of age, and in Chapter 34 he exposes the folly of valuing others' opinions, as these are subject to their own flaws and misconceptions. We then reach Chapter 35, where Marcus meditates on the concept of loss, challenging us to view it as nothing more than change, which is embraced by the universe that thrives on transformation. Furthermore, he touches upon the decay inherent in all physical matter. In Chapter 37, Marcus questions why we should let trivialities disrupt our lives. urging us to seek clarity and fairness in our judgments. Marcus focuses on being true to one's philosophical principles, regardless of external distractions or glorifications. From chapter 38 to 40, Marcus examines human error, stressing that mistakes are often the result of ignorance and that individuals should not be harshly condemned for them. Further, he questions the efficacy of prayer when addressing the elements outside our control, suggesting that we should instead seek the God's help in dealing with our own sphere of influence. Chapter 41 brings up Epicurus, who, despite his illness, remained committed to intellectual discussions rather than dwelling on physical ailments. This emphasizes the importance of mental over physical concerns. Finally, chapters 42 and onward, Marcus reflects on the variety of human shortcomings, musing that the universe naturally includes deceitful and dishonest individuals, and advises patience and understanding. He wraps up with an encouragement to act kindly, not for the sake of recognition, but because it aligns with one's nature, concluding that the acquisition and practice of virtue are their own rewards. Marcus Aurelius, through these passages, challenges us to let go of pettiness, to embrace our role in the larger scheme of the universe with humility and integrity, and to pursue a life in harmony with nature, without succumbing to the need for external validation or succumbing to fleeting emotions. Have you ever imagined how to live with the unwavering grace of the divine, or consider what truly grounds a contented life? In Part 3, Segment 1 of Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, we're invited into the profound realm of Stoic philosophy, where tranquility is found not in chasing after what we don't have, but in embracing what comes our way, with poise and acceptance. Imagine yourself at a gathering. Things come and go, opportunities, challenges, relationships. Take gracefully what's given to you. Let go of what slips away, and patiently wait for what's yet to come, be it children, wealth, or power. Make this a practice, and you align yourself with the divine, not merely as a companion, but in governance. In life, says Aurelius, there are demands placed upon us at various levels. The basic, like sustenance, followed by our animal and then rational needs, which he posits as inherently social. By meeting these needs without detriment to our rational nature, we find peace. He then delves into endurance, another cornerstone of Stoic thought. All of life's occurrences are either bearable or not by your nature. If bearable, endure without complaint. If not, fret not, it will end eventually. Harness the power of your perspective to turn challenges into tolerable experiences by viewing them as necessary or duty-bound. Aurelius also touches upon guidance and fault. If you can teach, do so gently. If not possible, fault neither yourself nor others. Embrace the interconnectedness of everything. Your existence and each experience were woven in by the threads of eternity. Grasp the notion that you're a part of the universe, and therefore connected to it all, so that even its seemingly negative occurrences work together for a collective good that benefits the whole. As he unfolds the Stoic tableau, Aurelius doesn't shy away from self-improvement. He encourages one to embody virtues like honesty and modesty persistently, without hankering for external approval. Embrace these qualities and transform into another being, one at ease in society, similar to a thriving citizen who contributes positively to the city. He reminds us of the temporary nature of life, encouraging focus on becoming akin to the divine nature, fulfilling the very purpose inherent to being human. Finally, Aurelius touches upon public life, urging retention of these profound principles amidst the cacophony of daily distractions. Quite the intricate tapestry of thought, don't you think? Aurelius weaves ethics, philosophy, and the essence of nature into a guide for serene living, transcending the mundane to touch upon the divine. Tune in next time as we continue to explore the rich layers of Meditations and grasp the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Stay thoughtful and keep striving for that harmonious symphony of life as citizens of the universe. In the midst of the Roman Empire's challenges, the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius takes a moment to reflect on the nature of leadership and virtue. He contemplates the pitfalls of superiority, pointing out that even great leaders can fall prey to the influence of lesser characters out of sheer kindness or misperceived candor. He urges the wise to stay true to their path, to consult with knowledgeable advisors when in doubt, and above all, to pursue justice, not as a societal contract, but as a divine alignment with the greater workings of the universe. Aurelius insists on the crucial practice of self-reflection upon waking. True greatness, he suggests, doesn't lie in being recognized by others, but in quietly aligning one's own actions with the greater good. He emphasizes the importance of acting with sincere obedience and willingness towards the natural ebb and flow of the cosmos, a process that unfolds with a divine justice, rewarding those who live in harmony with it. As our lives flicker briefly like a flame, the Emperor reminds us of the transient nature of existence. Every moment and material substance is as insignificant as a grain of millet, he muses. He prompts us to recognize the universal process of transformation and decay, encouraging a perspective that sees life and death, growth and dissolution as natural cycles. Aurelius then champions the notion of universal love within nature, the earth's affection for rain, for instance, and he advocates for a harmonious existence that loves and accepts the inevitable unfolding of the universe. He notes that whatever happens is to the benefit of the individual if it stems from the overarching order of nature. Through a series of probing inquiries about our own lives and those of influential figures of the past and present, Aurelius guides us to a realization. We are no different from each other or from those who have come and gone before us. All human affairs are transient, as are our perturbations and frustrations. Looking inward, he insists that the same laws that rule the cosmos equally dictate the bounds of individual human conduct. In one of his most profound reflections, Aurelius contemplates the intricate processes that govern life, from conception to growth, digestion to sensation. He invites us to marvel at the hidden yet undeniable forces that sculpt our existence and the world around us. The philosophical ruler also shares personal sentiments addressing human faults and ways to overcome them. He points out that anger arises from our own imperfections, and by reminding ourselves of this, we can learn tolerance and understanding. He reinforces the Stoic ethos of following reason and nature and the tranquility that accompanies this alignment. Finally, Aurelius paints a portrait of the kind of person one should strive to be, simple, good, and genuine, and he stresses that this ideal is within our grasp. He calls us to live honorably, exercising our freedom to choose virtue and act according to our own nature, relishing the moral and ethical deeds as the highest form of personal fulfillment. What does it truly mean to overcome obstacles, and how does our perception shape our reality? Imagine the unstoppable force of nature, the fire that burns upwards, the stone that effortlessly rolls downward, the object that glides down a slope without hesitation. Marcus Aurelius, in his contemplative work Meditations, implores us to view the power of reason with the same inevitability. For him, the soul embodies reason and intelligence, capable of moving through all resistance as naturally as the elements he describes. It is not the physical world that can truly impede us. Our challenges lie within our perceptions and our reluctance to embrace what fate unfolds. Diving into the vibrant heart of Book X, we encounter the reflection that a truly prepared soul can face the prospect of death with tranquility. Aurelius envisions a world where one approaches the end of life not with a clenched fist of rebellion, but with an open heart, ready to part from this existence as peacefully as a leaf detaches from a tree. He encourages us to cultivate such a mindset, one that remains benevolent and compassionate toward others, even as we acknowledge our own mortality and the fleeting nature of our connections. Transitioning to the profound lessons of self-examination, Aurelius prompts us to be vigilant in unraveling motivations, starting with our own. He likens our core inner self to the strings that control a puppet. It is our internal beliefs, passions, and opinions that truly animate our beings, much more than any external physical attributes. Aurelius then moves us into the reflective space of Book II, where he elaborates on the unique capabilities of the human soul. It is within our power to shape ourselves, to enjoy the fruits of our own thoughts and actions, and to find contentment at any moment of our lives, regardless of when it might be cut short. Like actors in a play, our lives play out on a grander stage, where birth and death are as natural as the ebb and flow of the tides. Concluding this segment with contemplations on purpose and philosophy, Aurelius brings us to the understanding that our daily actions, soaked in virtue and guided by reason and justice, are akin to an artist's discipline. He insists that every person's life, conducted in accordance with sound philosophical principles, is perfectly suited to progress in virtue, suggesting that what might seem like fate's harsh imposition is perhaps the most fertile ground for personal growth. What if the very nature of the universe, the grand and unyielding force that paints our existence, teaches us more profound truths than any human-made art could possibly mimic? Dive with me into a realm where the pure essence of being surpasses all, and the wisdom of a Roman emperor still echoes through time. I bring you into the closing chapters of Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, a journey where the natural intertwining of justice and virtue crafts the soul's fortitude. In the intricate web of existence, where even the mightiest arts bow to the supremacy of nature, we find ourselves grappling with the concept of justice as the bedrock of all virtues. Marcus, in his contemplative pursuit, posits that our care for indifferent things, our rash judgments, feed into this injustice. Imagine a world where the vexations that cause you turmoil stand motionless as you withdraw your judgments, arresting the very pursuit of dread. The soul, a luminous orb, untouched by the external, reveals clarity both within and without. It is in such grace that tranquility blooms, imperturbable even in the eyes of contempt or hatred. True benevolence, analogous to Phocian's reputed sweetness, stems from this unwavering internal steadiness, and in quiet nobility, the disdain of others becomes irrelevant. For how can evil fester if our actions align with our own nature, as Marcus declares? Aurelius invites us to rise above pettiness, to behold the grand orchestration where atoms or divine wisdom decree the inferior to serve the superior, and for the superior to harmonize among themselves. With this aerial perspective, the minutiae that seem to offend pale into the grander resonances of purpose and belonging. Proceeding further, when anger's fiery flames threaten to forge chains around our hearts, Marcus reminds us life's fleeting nature. 'Tis but a moment we live, and the commotion within us is not the doing of others, but our own judgments that ignite rage. Vanquish these misleading verdicts, and peace resumes its rightful place. In this intricate mortal dance, Marcus advises against both wrath and flattery, the former being a self-inflicted wound, the latter a treacherous path leading away from honest communion. Steadfast meekness, he posits, is the most formidable stronghold, impenetrable when wielded authentically, aiming not for applause but for the welfare and enlightenment of even those who transgress against us. We march on to discover that every soul errs not out of malice but oblivion, ensnared in ignorance and inevitably soothing its own twinges of injustice, our antagonists no less human than ourselves. And as the stars steadfastly adorn the night sky, the higher intellect within us must serve its term, faithfully adhering to the orchestration of the cosmos, sensing no wrong in its purposeful position. So here we stand, immersed in the teachings of a Stoic master, embracing the grandeur of natural law and the wisdom that what troubles us is within our power to change, through perception, through discernment, through a soul that mirrors the cosmos. Now, let's carry this understanding into the currents of our lives, shall we?